You've done the vision boards. You've journaled your 5-year plan. You've read the books, optimized your mornings, and checked all the boxes. But something inside still feels empty. You're not ungrateful. You know how far you've come. But the fire that used to keep you going, it flickers now. And some days it disappears entirely. The goals you once woke up excited for now feel like tasks to survive. Your calendar is full, but your heart is tired. You get the praise, the numbers, the title. And then you quietly ask yourself, is this it? What you're experiencing isn't a failure. It's a quiet revolution, one that begins when productivity no longer feeds your soul, and you're forced to confront the deeper question. What if the life I've been chasing is not the life I actually want? Part 1. The lie of if I just do more. It starts innocently. We set a goal. We work hard. We hit the goal. We feel good for a moment. And then, silence. The high fades. The applause dies. The metrics reset. So what do? We chase again. We tell ourselves, this next milestone will feel different. This time, I'll slow down once I hit that number. This success will be the one that fills the gap. But it never does. Because what we're really chasing isn't the goal. It's the feeling we think the goal will give us. A sense of worth. A sense of control. A sense of identity. A sense of meaning. And this is where it gets dangerous. Because the longer we chase external goals to solve internal emptiness, the more our life becomes a performance. Every goal becomes a new role to play. Every accomplishment, a new costume. Every achievement, a subtle form of escape. Carl Jung once said, "We don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The darkness here is the possibility that we've built our entire life around what looks good instead of what feels true. And when that realization begins to surface, it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with fatigue. That's why you're tired, not just physically, but existentially. You're tired of performing value. You're tired of proving that you're worthy of being here. You're tired of chasing purpose like it's a product on a shelf. You're tired of confusing movement with meaning. This is what Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, observed in countless people. That we live in a world obsessed with achievement, but starving for meaning. We are encouraged to climb, produce, compete, but rarely asked to sit with the question, what is this all for? And when that question arises, when you wake up at the top of the ladder and realize it's leaning against the wrong wall, the system has no answer for you. So, it calls you lazy. It tells you to hustle harder. It labels your fatigue as a lack of discipline. And it prescribes you another planner, another productivity app, another 10x mindset strategy. But your soul doesn't need a new tactic. It needs a new relationship to time, to work, to effort, to being. Because the real burnout isn't just physical, it's spiritual. And spiritual burnout comes when we use effort to replace essence, when we let goals replace values, when we let productivity replace presence. But here's the good news. This moment of disillusionment, it's sacred, because it means the illusion is breaking, and what breaks now makes space. In the next part, we'll explore what Viktor Frankl discovered in the darkest places on Earth, and how his wisdom might be the key to restoring your relationship with effort, purpose, and peace. Because maybe the problem isn't that you're doing too little. Maybe the problem is that you've been doing too much of what doesn't matter. Part 2. Meaning over metrics. What Viktor Frankl discovered in the dark. Viktor Frankl was not a motivational speaker. He didn't come from Silicon Valley or hustle culture. He was a neurologist, a psychiatrist, and most notably, a survivor of Auschwitz. He lived through one of the darkest chapters of human history, and what he observed inside those concentration camps wasn't just horror. It was something deeper, something shocking. Some prisoners died within weeks. Others, despite enduring the same suffering, held on longer. And Frankl asked, why? Why do some people survive unimaginable circumstances, while others collapse from within, long before their body fails? His answer wasn't physical strength. It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't even optimism. It was meaning. Frankl discovered that when people lost their sense of purpose, their will to live collapsed. But when someone had even the tiniest thread of meaning to hold on to, they could endure what seemed unendurable. He later wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." This idea became the foundation for his book, Man's Search for Meaning, a book written not in theory, but in blood-bone and unbearable silence. And in it, he introduced something radical, that what we suffer from in modern life is not too little achievement, but too little meaning. Think about your life right now. How many of your goals are driven by your true why, and how many are driven by social momentum comparison or fear of being left behind? How often do you set targets based on what energizes you versus what you feel obligated to prove? How often does your calendar reflect your actual values versus what will make you look successful to others? These are uncomfortable questions because they strip away the illusion that productivity equals purpose. Frankl believed that success cannot be pursued. It must ensue as the unintended side effect of a life lived with meaning. Don't aim at success, he wrote. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue as the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. Let that sink in. You don't get meaning by chasing it. You cultivate meaning by living it through commitment, connection, contribution. It's not a feeling. It's a relationship. It's not a metric. It's a way of being. And here's the kicker. You can't build a meaningful life on goals that don't come from your soul. You can't hack your way into fulfillment. You can't optimize your way into peace. You can't outperform a value system you never chose consciously. If your goals are not rooted in what matters to you, no matter how many of them you hit, you'll still feel hollow. Because it's not the size of your dream that gives it meaning. It's the truth behind it. So ask yourself, why do I want what I say I want? Who taught me to want it? What values is this goal honoring or betraying? If no one applauded me for this achievement, would I still want it? These are not questions of ambition. They are questions of alignment. Frankl taught that people are not destroyed by suffering. They are destroyed by suffering that seems meaningless. Likewise, you are not burnt out because you're doing too much. You're burnt out because what you're doing lacks connection to your core values. And when that disconnect grows long enough, you start waking up wondering why you feel numb. Why you keep checking your goals like boxes, but nothing ever feels complete. Here's the turning point. You don't need to chase a bigger dream. You need to reconnect with a truer one. In the next part, we'll explore how to recognize the signs that you've been living from productivity instead of presence, and how to begin reorienting your days, not around urgency, but around values. Because you're not here to prove. You're here to participate, to feel, to live in rhythm with what actually matters to you. And you won't find that in your to-do list. You'll find it when you finally pause long enough to ask, is this even mine? Part 3. Signs you're living for productivity, not presence. You're getting things done. Your inbox is cleared. Your projects are moving forward. Your planner is full. And yet, You feel disconnected, restless, unseen even by yourself. It's easy to miss the difference between being productive and being present, because the world rewards one, but not the other. You get applause for outcomes, not alignment. You get praise for efficiency, not emotional honesty. You get promoted for performance, not for living in truth. And so without realizing it, your life becomes a string of sprints, measured in checklists and wins, while your soul quietly waits for permission to speak. But it's speaking now. Through fatigue, through resistance, through that gnawing question at the back of your mind. Why do I still feel so far from myself? Let's get honest. Here are the signs that you may be living for productivity and not presence. 1. You can't rest without guilt. When you sit still, you feel uncomfortable. You feel like you're wasting time falling behind, not earning your peace. Even your self-care becomes a performance, another task to check off, another thing to optimize. True presence isn't earned, it's reclaimed. If your worth is tied to how much you produce, you'll never feel worthy when you're resting only when you're running. 2. You confuse urgency with importance. Every notification feels like a fire. Every request becomes a crisis. You're constantly reacting instead of intentionally responding. Presence allows for pause. It knows not everything is urgent, only your attention is being hijacked. 3. You dread slowing down because you're afraid of what might surface. Stillness is scary when you've built your identity around motion. The moment you stop moving, the deeper questions come rushing in. Do I even want this? Whose life am I building? Why do I feel invisible in my own success? Presence doesn't avoid the questions. It holds space for them. 4. Your joy is postponed, contingent, or missing entirely. You keep saying, I'll feel good once I finish this. I'll relax when I achieve that. I'll enjoy life after I reach that next goal. But the joy never comes, or if it does, it's fleeting, like trying to drink from a paper cup that keeps tearing. Presence says, you don't have to earn your joy. You just have to be here for it. 5. You speak your schedule more fluently than your emotions. You know what's next on your to-do list, but not what's next in your heart. You track your KPIs, but not your inner peace. You've optimized your day, but haven't felt connected to yourself in weeks. Presence starts with self-recognition, not performance, not status, not success, just awareness. 6. You treat your relationships like calendar entries. You text out of obligation. You check in to check a box. Even your moments of connection feel like another task. Presence slows down time. It lets people be more than functions in your day. It lets love be more than convenience. 7. You feel anxious when you're not achieving. It's not just that you like being productive. It's that you don't know who you are without being productive. Your identity is fused with output. Your self-worth is on a treadmill. You feel like if you stop, you'll disappear. But here's the truth. You're not here to disappear into productivity. You're here to return to presence. Viktor Frankl said that the modern person is not overworked. They are undernourished. Not in terms of time, but in terms of meaning. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because too little of what you do feels real. But there's a way out. In the final part of this video, we'll explore how to shift intentionally, gently, radically from the identity of productive person to a life where presence, peace, and meaning are your true metrics. Because the point of life was never to fill every box. It was to feel every moment. Part 4. The shift from efficiency to essence. From doing to being there comes a moment after the hustle, after the burnout, after the quiet heartbreak of hitting every goal and still feeling hollow. where you finally stop asking, "How do I do more?" and begin asking, "Who am I becoming?" This is the shift. It doesn't look glamorous. There are no trophies for it, no metrics to prove you're getting it right. But it's real. And it's radical. Because for the first time, you're choosing to design a life around presence, not performance. Step 1. Redefine success in your own language. Start by rewriting what success means to you. Not based on what your industry says. Not based on what gets likes. Not even based on what makes you money. Ask, what am I proud of when no one is watching? What moments make me feel whole, even when they don't produce anything? What kind of day feels nourishing, not just impressive? Let your new success be quiet, slow, even unremarkable. If it feels deeply yours, it's enough. Step 2. Schedule integrity before productivity. What if your calendar wasn't filled with what's urgent, but what's meaningful? Try this. Instead of blocking 8 hours for output, block 1 hour for stillness. Instead of checking email, first thing, check in with yourself. Instead of asking, "What do I need to do today?" ask, "What do I not want to abandon within myself today?" Productivity may move your projects forward, but presence moves you forward. Step 3. Let go of legacy and start living. One of the deepest traps of productivity culture is the illusion of legacy, that you must build something big to matter. But what if your legacy isn't something you leave behind, but something you live? Now, a moment of presence with your child, a decision aligned with your values, a conversation that heals instead of proves. Frankl reminds us life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. You don't need a bigger platform. You need a deeper presence. Step 4. Make peace with being behind. You will be tempted often to go back to the chase, to measure your worth by progress, to sprint because others are sprinting. But pause. Remember, you are not behind. You are exactly where presence lives here. What's ahead of you is not more goals. It's more you. More clarity, more choice, more honesty. Final thoughts. This is not the end of productivity. It's the beginning of wholeness. This video is not asking you to quit your dreams. It's inviting you to question whose dreams they really are. It's not telling you to stop growing. It's asking you to grow toward truth, not just toward titles. You can still build. You can still create. You can still strive. But now, you do it from rootedness, from stillness, from the part of you that no longer needs to chase, because it has finally chosen to arrive. So if you're tired, not just physically but existentially, you're not broken. You're just being invited to live from something deeper than drive, to live from presence, to live from meaning, to live from the you that doesn't need to be proven, just practiced. Ask yourself this as you walk forward. If no one saw me succeed, would I still want this life? And if the answer is yes, you've already won.